Hi, folks, and welcome. Welcome to Just Folks Conversations with Emma, and I'm Emma, and I have the distinct privilege of having a wonderful guest this evening, my friend Wanda T. Brown. I'm not going to tell you too much about her right now, but I just wanted to frame this conversation so you have a sense of what we're going to be discussing. This period of history is known, it's really very distinct. It's known for our encounter worldwide with the novel coronavirus, otherwise known as COVID-19. Now, there are probably very few people on the planet who haven't been impacted one way or the other by this situation. Um, there have been a lot of funerals. Lots of people have found that their way of making a living has changed. They may have not been able to do what they've done in the past. And so the temptation is to look at this time of history, these circumstances in a very negative frame of mind. So we've all been impacted, but on the other hand, if you have the ability, you can view this situation as an opportunity, and that is why I've asked Wanda T. Brown to come join us tonight. This is a conversation you will be so glad you decided to tune into. Welcome, Wanda.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm Wanda T. Brown, author of Willing My Way Back to Health by Faith. And I'm grateful to have this opportunity again to have this conversation with Miss Emma. So thank you for the invite.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. Um, you have done a lot of things in your life, Wanda. Um, can you kind of fill the audience in on your background, some of the things that you've done?
Well, I am currently retired from Maryland State Government for working 30 years with child support enforcement. I also am currently still working as a Mary Kay beauty consultant. I love mentoring teenagers, making vision boards, and I love helping, learning, growing, and serving others. And I also work at Maryland Management Company, which I love. Um, I'm an author, I'm a model. I've been featured in several magazines, stories, and just have a lot of positive things going on. Some things, little can be a little wishy-washy, but I take the best and try to turn my life into what I choose to in the good and bad times.
Well, that's the thing I wanted to bring up. And listening to all of the different occupations that you are currently still doing, it makes me wonder, do you have a twin hidden somewhere who's actually going out and doing all this work? And how do you manage to keep all of that in balance?
Determination. I'm also a Gemini, two multiple personalities, but I just love to live my life to the fullest while I'm still in my physical body. No matter what it appear to be on the outside world, my inner world, I have to continue to do what I have to do in this life of survival. And I love to work. I grew up working as a 14 on up, man. I'm 58, I'll be 59 in June, and that's all I know. And
Wow.
I always can get a job.
Well, first of all, you don't look like you're 50 anything, although I
Thank you.
heard you say you were retired. So I guess you have to carry your identification and prove it all the time. But you are
Some
the
things when I try to get that senior discount, if it's 55 and older, and they will give me a discount. Some people they be like, don't take it personal, but I'll be like, I'm not, but I want my discount. So,
yeah.
sometimes I do, but it depends on what I'm trying to get senior discounts.
That is funny because there's nothing senior about you. You're very youthful, and you're you have a glow. I've known you for a number of years, and but I did not know you when you were writing your book. willing your way back to help. Can you talk about how you became an author? What motivated you to write that?
Well, what happened when I was younger, and I still feel the same way. I wanted to be a star. I always wanted to. I stand out. Number one, I'm different. I have a different personality than the average person. I love what I do for me. When I was younger, I used to like, like the Wizard of Oz is my favorite story when Dorothy used to be in that clicking her heels and saying, she wanted to go home, but home was right within her. So I used to pack this brown bag up, put some clothes in it, click. I want to go to Hollywood. I want to do this and I want to do that. But I knew something was just different from me. I could be in a crowd and stand out from the crowd. I don't be a part of everything because it's not for me. And as I grew up, I say God helped me, and I watched my grandfather, and I said something sporadically different about him, and I wanted to be like him. So, but I had to learn about faith and truth, and on a journey, you have your ups and downs with people, places, and things. But on my spiritual journey, I know it was more to me as a child. So as I went to high school, I had found mentors. They helped me because I was going down the road of destruction. And this mouth of mine, whoo, sometimes things that, come out of it, not so good, because the tongue is deadly and unruly and it can hurt people's lives, minds, and reputation. But I found peace within, found God. I started learning principles, powerful, abundant living. This classes I took as a teenager. It helped me get through high school. Then I started working. I guess I got married at an early age and one journey after another one. And
Well,
then,
let
oh,
me just stop you for a second. You were talking about being a teenager and really embarking on a spiritual journey. And that's pretty unusual. Teenagers are not generally known for, I mean, the world centers around teenagers. That's one thing I think we can all agree.
yeah,
They're just learning that the things that happens to them is not the only person is happening to. They're just beginning to figure that out because they feel like whatever it is, nobody else has had that experience before. How did you find this spiritual support? Because that seems to me to be the thing that's been consistent throughout certainly the adult part of your life, but it started when you were an adolescent.
my grandfather was a preacher, and my mom was an evangelist. And I always grew up in those apostolic churches, and you had to be disciplined. So most of my time when I was young, I spent a lot of time in church. And my grandfather always told my mother I was different. And then I wanted to be bad, but I wanted to be good at the same time because we
What
all
does that
sin and
mean?
miss the mark.
It means that you want
I
to be
wanted
bad.
to being bad, hang out in the streets, hook school, do things that teenagers do. But when I found myself, I was about to fail, and the teacher used to say, "Luck, shut up and fail quietly." And I'm like, "I'm failing." He was like, "Yes, you're not. You're focused somewhere else." So I was like, "Oh, And then I was afraid of my mom because she didn't play that with me. So I was like, "I need help," and like it was like my mom had. It was six of us, and my father, he kind of got murdered when I was 19. Big, I guess basically if I got out of high school a year later or something. But I knew when I was 16, a friend of mine came with a Bible in her hand, three of us sitting on the curb. And she started talking about God. And do you want to know him? I'm like, yeah, I want more. Because I just knew that will save my life. So I followed her and she enrolled me into these classes. And I was young, about 19. That was hard for me to sit in a class audio because we ain't had no video back then. For 3 weeks, 3 nights a week, and get up and go to school and be disciplined and finish these classes. So the things I learned, I was evolving real fast in it. And I said, "Well, how I know it's a God?" And I said, "Well, I'm gonna ask God for something." And it was a can of spray starch, we used to starch our clothes with. So one day I said, "Well, if it's a God, I need 85 cents." She said, "Did you pray?" I said, "I don't know how. Not, besides our Father which art in heaven." She said, "I'm gonna teach you how to pray." And she sat with me and taught me how to pray and ask and have faith that I will receive it. So by that time, throughout the day, people started giving me change. Whereas though I wound up with the 85 cents to get the can of starch. It's like, wow, there is God. So I knocked on her door and said, "Look, I got the starch." She said, "I told you." She said, "But it's more where that came from, but the more was inside of me. But I had to have faith, assurance of things hoped for." So after a while, I was like, I need a job, and I started working after school. So that took my time. And once the teacher told me, "You need every credit to graduate next year. You need to focus on what do you want." She didn't tell me because I could not see me holding myself back because I wanted to be in the streets and hang out and party. So I switched my way of thinking. And you know how the caterpillar turned into that beautiful butterfly? They had to come out that cocoon and evolve.
Right.
And I did that. And that's how my journey began. And wound up going to school, graduating. Of course, I had got a boyfriend and then got married at a young age. It was it was something else. And then I did it because of the wrong reasons too. I loved him, but we got married for church reasons. Back then you're not supposed to do certain things. So I did that. And on that journey, I still wanted to do what I wanted to do. But because I knew the truth, mentally, I got whipped up in my own mindset because I knew better, but I still didn't want to do better.
So what
So
did that look like in terms of your actual life?
it went down the road of destruction. A lot of arguing and um, abuse with people. Far as mostly my marriages. Then I got married again at 36. That wasn't good either. So I was like, "God, I can't keep living like this. I'm tired. They should be tired." My life was just not going. And then I guess I just knew the principles. So I started hanging her back around the people that can help me. I asked for help too. I
When
cried,
you
I
say
prayed.
you say principles, what kind of
Yeah,
principles?
spiritual principles.
Okay.
You have to God first, me, family, career. I had to really take the word and learn of it. And when he say my yoke is easy, you have to discipline yourself and be willing to change. Be willing to get the life you desire. But I had to change people, places, and things in my circle. And as I grew up, I wanted more. I know it was more to life because number one, I knew better. Once you know the truth, it's in you. You can deny it, ignore it, and you'll turn into this other person inside of you that when you meet somebody, it's like Christmas, then Halloween come real fast out of people, out of myself, and our attitudes change. And I could be sweet, bitter, angry, in a rage. But then there's God, that still small voice come tap up their heart. And you have to ask for forgiveness. So I say, I forgive, I'm forgiven, and I'm healed. And then I started learning more principles as I went on a journey. Then I
So
started
who were
working
you
for
forgiving? Were you
myself first.
okay?
Um, People I might have said things to that I shouldn't have said because my tongue can be, the things that we proceed of out of our mouth sometimes I shouldn't say it, but you say it, then you can't take it back. So then you got to work on the forgiveness. And after a while, you get tired of working on the same stuff. So you just free yourself. Sometimes it's letting people go on their journey. So as I went along on this journey, I wound up working for Maryland State government, retired 6 years ago. Then some health challenges came up in my life. like a brain hemorrhage, tumor, sarcoidosis, broke my ankle, couldn't walk, just wanted to just die at one point. Myself inwardly was dying. And at one point, my physical, they kept saying I wasn't going to live. And I'm like, then one day, that still small voice came and say, I was like, I'm not finished though, God. So I was willing to live. And it still was a bumpy road because if we didn't have challenges, life would be easy. We wouldn't need our highest source from within, God. So I went through a lot, and then I wound up sharing my story, sending it to different magazines, and it got out. And I was writing this little small book about me, and I wound up getting published. And that's how I became an author. And I know when you can heal the body from within, but you got to have faith and be assured of things hoped for, perceiving power from within me. So I always have faith, no matter what it appear to be in my life. I know that there's a God. And when I go down that destruction, I say, God, please help me. Like today, I felt some kind of way today about something. And even at work, you get overwhelmed. But that's what he said, be still and know I'm God. Be still. Take time to be still and listen to your heart's desire. You make a decision, the desire is in you. You take care of your details, and your deliverance come from God, that higher source, power, whatever you choose to call him by various names. And you learn, grow from your mistakes. We all sin and miss the mark. I always say, he who has not sinned, let them cast the first stone. But it's we live in our thoughts, we live in our mind. So what I as a man think of, so he become. You think negative, you think mad, you're gonna be mad. You think loving thoughts, kindness. When you see me, you should see the Father, the characteristics of God. And that's love, peace, joy, happiness, prosperity, abundance. And sometimes we don't always do that. We want to, but sometimes we get thrown off course. But the good thing is you can bring yourself back on course.
And you've done that repeatedly. I would like you to share with the audience your experience at the beginning of the pandemic when nobody knew anything about how this virus was being transmitted. And you were working for Uber. Now,
Yeah.
that to me is the demonstration of what faith can do. Would you share?
Yes, what happened? I was just coming off a magazine tour from Vegas. And that was around February. We came back and I had my bags packed to go to California because I was going to Hollywood. I say around June by the time for my birthday. So I was all ready because this acting classes I was going to take. You had to be in LA for at least 8 weeks, which would mean 2 months. I had saved this money. I was ready to go. I was just living by faith, and I was like, I'll be fine. And March, this pandemic happened. So I'm still didn't realize what was going on. You see this stuff on the news, and when I went out to turn my Uber on, I noticed the scarcity outside. It was nobody really out, and I'm riding like, well, I ain't got a call. And that's when I say, well, I'm gonna go in the house. And that's when the news started shutting things down slowly. Then it progressed and it was like the world was shutting down. But I was like, well, I still gotta work. And then I guess they had the frontline workers. But I prayed over myself and said, God, I'm not interested in COVID and COVID not interested in me. And I believe that because at the beginning, we didn't have those masks. That was a process of getting those at the beginning. So it was like people were catching this dis-ease in the body and mind, and they were just transforming out of their body and dying. And I just kept living. I knew it existed, but it wasn't going to stop me from working. And I had to still live. And then next thing you know, people still had to get to and from. So after a
those
week went
essential
by,
those essential workers, the healthcare
yes,
workers, people who had
right,
to keep working,
right.
had
And
to have a
after,
way to get to work because the buses weren't running.
right, that's what I was gonna say. After a week went by, it was slow that first week. By the next week, it picked up a little. And once they cut the bus system down, I just never stopped working. And my car went up, and then I started renting a car from Uber, which is I've been in a year. That's living by faith, and I'm still doing it part time when I feel like it. But when people got in my car, I sanitized, I wiped down, I prayed, and I just kept living. And I kept saying, I'm not interested in that, and it's not interested in me. And most of the time, I ain't think about COVID until I came outside. Because spiritually, I released it to the sea of nothingness in my mind and in my life, even though the outer world want to make you continue to think about it. But I just prayed and say I'm health, and I kept going, and I just never stopped
And
through the
because you had
pandemic.
that kind of faith, countless
Yes,
people were able to get to their jobs at hospitals and places where it was critical for them to be. So I'm
yes.
thanking you for being the demonstration of what that faith looks like, because you don't really just talk it, you walk it. And that's why I wanted you to share your story and to have this conversation, because of the power of what faith can do.
It's a sort of things hoped for. And even and when my mom died, you were there right with me when I got the call, and I said I still have to do this makeup for this fashion show
Let's set that up
because
for the audience so they'll know what the circumstances were. Um, this was 2019,
yes, November.
and in November, and the
Yeah,
church that we both attend, One God, One Thought Center for Better Living in Baltimore, uh,
yeah,
I work with the Spiritual Arts Ministry. And every year in November, we have been producing a, a spirit led fundraiser. And
right.
part of our fundraising event was to have fashion and talent. And you had very generously agreed to make up the models. And I must say, your skills as a makeup artist are excellent. So we were
Thank
very,
you.
very excited that you agreed to donate your skills to us. And so um, the program occurred on a Saturday. And that same day, you received a call that your mom had made her transition.
Yes,
And you shared that with me. And you said, I'll be there. I'm coming. And I was I was speechless. For one thing, I know how close you were to your mother. I know
yeah,
how close you are to your mother because the spirit never dies. And you had the strength to come and do a magnificent job. You never
thank
missed a beat, never missed a beat. And we had at least 30 models, and you, including children, and the care that you demonstrated for each and every one of those models, some of whom had never been on a runway, had never presented publicly before. They all felt like stars, and they looked like stars because of what you gave from your heart. And that, well, we can say thank you, but the words just don't express the gratitude. But we will always be grateful to you for your contribution. It was one of the best programs we ever presented.
thank
And the models themselves, um, as I said, they all performed like professionals, as if they were being paid thousands of dollars. Not that they wouldn't have done a good job, but what you added gave them a boost. It gave them confidence. And we all were aware that your mom had just transitioned that morning. So that act of love was so deeply appreciated that I think it just flowed, it flowed
Yes.
from us to the audience, from you to us to the audience, God's love and your faith and your ability to have the strength not to even shed a tear. It was such an honor for us in the way that you honored your mother.
Because it was out of love. Love is a deep affection for something or someone, and whatever you love, you're gonna, because it has no agenda in what and who it loves. It just loves. That's how God is. He just loves. And when you get in a certain mind frame, and it's work, it's it's a lot of work. Then you get to that point of quietness and be still and know I'm God and I'm able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask me or think of according to the power within you. I was determined to keep going because she was at peace. It hurt physically, but I knew it wasn't nothing I really can do because that night I watched her as she was transforming, making her transition slowly. And I'm like, when she told me that Wednesday, I knew she was ready. So I'm like, she's going to be gone by the weekend. And she did. And she left. But I had that commitment and it just happened. But that helped me too. That was like therapy. I mean, so me keeping my mind on what I was doing, then I stayed to watch the fashion show. But when I did leave out and got in the car, that's when I broke down. But at least I was determined to live and give, learn, grow, and serve others. So I was grateful for you asking me and how once everybody came and prayed with me in a circle, put me in a circle, that even gave me the strength that I can do this. So thank you for that.
Well, it's all God. It's all God. We all listen, and I'm just grateful to you for for having a heart big enough that there was no limitation on what you could accomplish. And
Yes,
you just blessed us. It was absolutely a wonderful program.
it
Um,
was.
it really was. So once we say goodbye to Miss Corona, uh, perhaps we'll be doing it again. Um,
Yes. And it's a process. And that's why I always say it can go to the sea of nothingness from which it came.
mhm,
Because it's like fear that comes and get into the mindset and a collective consciousness keeps saying it out of their mouth, their heart, their mind, and they believe it. And collectively, it's out there. Now, it will disappear one day, but the mindset of a collective consciousness, it has to shift. And now that they have the vaccination, a lot of people taking it, some not. So it's still lingering. But I thank God through the whole year, I haven't even had a cold. And the mask helped us.
mhm.
And some people was disciplined, and some gonna be disciplined, some not for whatever reason. But one day this too shall pass. And I always thought of the situation, and I'm gonna say it. It was like Trump was in office. He reminded me of Pharaoh wouldn't let the people go. When Moses sent Joshua and Aaron to take them to the promised land, they had to see a sign before they believe. And that's how life is. So then it seemed like now in 2021, a shift took place where he sent Biden so to help free the people out of the land of Egypt is bondage in the mind.
Mm.
So some believe, some go on a journey, and some not. So those who believe and have faith, the signs and the miracles and the miraculous takes place in our life. But then we hang around people, places, and things that sometimes we just won't surrender to a power greater than ourselves, the creative force within us. Because our faith in God, to me, is measured in how much confidence we have within ourselves. And I'm not saying it's easy to take work 24/7 to do this work, but if you're willing and you surround yourself with the right people, places, and things, you will see the signs from the windows of heaven opening up and having heaven while you're on earth. Because God is our source and He promised us He'll never leave us or forsake us, but it's up to us to believe. He's not going to force Himself on us because we have a free will choice in life. Whatever we do is our choice.
And how does that look for you in terms of your choices? How are you moving forward?
I'm moving forward because right now I'm on this Zoom grown folks with Miss Emma, and I'm blessed to be doing this because I had to get back to this, and the opportunity presented itself, and I did not say no. I ain't procrastinate when you asked me. I said yes, and it started me back on my path because I got stuck and I didn't know how to get back to it. And I was like, I had to reach out for help. And then I got a mentor too, and they helping me with certain things with my goals, short term, attainable, long term, and what is it that I want out of my life? Not nobody else's life, but what is it that Wanda want? So I had to make a decision. I made a decision. I want to do my Mary Kay business. So that's my project I'm working on. I wanted to invest. So I started investing last week with shares and stuff I don't even know about. But the person that's helping me came into my life because when a student ready, the teacher
Say that
appear.
again.
When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I'm ready for certain things in my life, and the teachers are apparent. As a matter of fact, you are a former school teacher, and it's like everybody that I need to be in my space at this time is apparent, and it's because I write down my goals, pray, and meditate, and I get thrown off and get distracted, and allow sometimes other people's conversations or situations can get in my head. But it say, "Be ye angry and sin not." So when I find myself being angry and the mouth start popping off, I have to stop it and shift and be ye transformed by the renewing of my mind. My thoughts, what I say out of my mouth, and say, God, please help me because I have to forgive and keep moving. Or I could stay and wallow in it. And then, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And what you give energy to will persist, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Um, so, what specifically are you planning for the future, and how are you using your principles to support you?
I wake up with prayer, meditation, and I journal every single day. I love to journal. I like to write. So I always journal. So I write my thoughts down. Even when I'm at work and I have that downtime, I journal a lot. I pray, I meditate. I spend a lot of time by myself in the silence of my own being because I realize I'm not going to allow other people to keep renting space in my head, my thoughts, because it don't belong to me anyway. But I had to make a decision. What is it that Wanda want? You know, and I can't be all over the place. So right now, my future is writing down my goals and crossing each one off as I accomplish them. So my future is right now, and I want to be in a red jacket with Mary Kay, so that's why I got on my red jacket.
Okay.
I need 3 to 5 recruits, bookseller recruit. So I started putting on red so I can go out into the universal world and live by faith. And I'm giving myself to June to accomplish that. And I also want to finish my prayer and poem book that I'm writing, been working on to accomplish that. Get in more magazine and get interviews. And my mentor always say, how many interviews do you want? Write the number, write the date, be specific about certain things. And I have to do the work. But we can get distracted if we choose to, or we can focus on the goal. And I choosing right now to focus on whatever it is that make me happy and how I can serve the planet as I'm going on this journey.
So I see two strands of thought. One has to do with gratitude, and the
I'm
other has to do
grateful.
with service.
Service,
And
I'm so grateful.
mm,
I'm grateful for who I am and becoming, and I'm not perfect and I make a lot of mistakes and I pay the consequences behind my own mistakes. But I open my heart up and mind to spur, and when I allow it and just be, I can be sweet, humble, kind, meek. And when you see, that's why they say when they ask Jesus, well, show us the Father. When I walk out my door, you should see the Father in me. You should see the characteristics of God in us. And that, what does that look like? It look like peace, love, prosperity, abundance, joy, happiness. Because when I shift in my thinking, I can become that. But when I allow situations to distract me or I distract other people, because this thing and you live in your thoughts, so your mind is going all the time with thoughts of all kinds of stuff. And because we have a super conscious, a conscious, and a subconscious, that subconscious is always working 24/7 because that subconscious have everything that ever happened to you is stored in a memory bank. And then you can go get it or somebody else will try to get it for you. And if you dwell on a thought long enough, the thought becomes a belief. So when you go in that subconscious, it's always working consciously or unconsciously. That's when you have a choice between the conscious to make a choice. And I try to most of the time to go to the super conscious, which is my God conscious, but it's a battle sometimes fighting. But the more I do the work, I can discipline myself most of the time to go to my super conscious because that subconscious works while you sleep and speaking things out of your mouth. You got to really watch what you say because some stuff manifests so fast. But I'm working on me daily, consistently. And anybody I've said something to out there, I forgive myself, forgive me, because like I said, what comes out this mouth sometimes it's not good, but I don't beat myself down and I'm learning to just be still and not say anything. And I know how to go calm down and go put the word back in me when it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and the kingdom is within me. So we have the tools, is all you're going to use them
well,
and
I
stop
think,
defaulting back to the old ways and them old habits. That's what I'm working on. Me.
well, that's a challenge for everybody because we all
Yes,
have a default position that we go to that we're comfortable with. And it does take some work to keep that
it's work.
super consciousness uh, as our primary source. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Well, Wanda, you are continuing to be an inspiration to me personally
Thank
and
you.
to a lot of other people that you encounter because you've got 50 million 11 different jobs and everywhere you go.
That's what I be saying at my job. They be like, she can do this and multitask that and go do that. But
But you meet a
it's
lot of people.
because I love to work.
Mhm.
I love things, certain things, lifestyle, and I have to work on me but I'm still evolving every day, and I'm learning, growing, and serving others. And like I said, sometimes my energy level be so high up. I have the energy sometimes of a 30, 40-year old, and I'm be 59. And my energy level, I work out, I try to eat right most of the time. But I just, it's the mindset because we live in our mind. What we think about all day long, that's what's going to happen in my life, and that's what's going to show up. So if you don't like what's showing up in your life, it's up to you to shift it and change it. And sometimes we got to eliminate people, places, and things that don't serve us, and we don't serve them. And it could be a family member, a friend, a loved one, a relationship, friendship. Sometimes things have to come to an end because just because people in our circle or in our lives don't mean they're there to stay forever. And once you
Yes,
realize it, it's your choice to make these decisions. And with me,
that's
I'm
not
making a
easy.
lot of decisions in my life.
Yeah, that's not easy to do, especially if it's a family member
You
or
can love
someone.
them from a distance.
Okay, okay.
That's because I love you. Don't mean I gotta tolerate you, and you don't have to tolerate me.
Mm.
But we can have a mutual agreement to agree and disagree. But my world is my world, your world is yours, and we have free will choices in the world we choose to live in for ourselves. And some people like it and some people don't. But I'm to a point in my life, I love me and I matter to me. And that's how I have to live my life. And I'm growing every day. It's not an easy job. I
And you
mean,
also sharing what you're learning as well, because I see that you have a Facebook page and that you
yeah,
post inspirational verses and thoughts and comments, and you're really like your own cheerleader. Um,
I am my own cheerleader most of the time. Woo woo.
which
But
is wonderful.
sometimes you
That's
have to
wonderful.
be and toot your own horn.
Hmm.
And it's not arrogant, but it's where I'm at in my life because sometimes I have to toot my horn because that's my life. This is Wanda T. Brown, also known as Wanda T. Luck Journey. It's my journey. It's not nobody else's journey. So whatever I wanted, I'm not a star in my own movie of my life. So whatever I want in my movie in my life, I'm creating this movie as I go along day by day. And as I go on this journey, it's mine for the asking. So what's showing up that I don't like, I have to eliminate people, places, and things. And that's where the 12 spiritual powers come in. We have 12 spiritual powers. Will, you be willing. Understand, you understand who you are. Faith is assurance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen, perceiving power from within. Love, the love of God, a deep affection for something or someone. Um, we also have imagination. That's where I create them vision boards and in my mind how my life gonna be. I go down by the water. I go in these neighborhoods that I want to live. I go sit in a car I want to drive. Certain things I just go do and just be me, myself, and I and God. And that zeal, that energy, that's where I get all that energy from. And then we have power to speak those things out of the mouth. That power come out, boldness and authority. Then you have wisdom. That's the inner knowing. Then you have order. You learn to order your life the way you want your life. And sometimes we order it in any kind of way we want. And that's what's going to be on that menu, whatever way you ordering it. And then you have elimination. That's the part of eliminating people, places, and things that no longer serve this journey I'm on. And it might be, like I said, loved one, family, whatever. We all have our own life journey. And just like social distance, we have to sometimes social distance from people, places, and things. And then we have life to produce whatever I want in my life. and then the strength to go on. Those 12 powers work when you work them. So the principles I learned on this spiritual journey, I try my best every day to use them, operate them, because we live in our mind. And I'm not saying I do it all the time, but most of the time I try. Because deep down inside, I can be loving, kind, and humble. And then sometimes he who has not sinned, let them cast the first stone at me when I miss the mark. So it's
But
called life.
your intentions are good. And really, if you really believe that, God is all that there really isn't anything that's truly bad because God is goodness. It's good, period.
Yes, God
God's
is.
in everything and everybody. There's no place you can go and nothing you can do
Right,
that doesn't have God in it. You just got
right.
to look. You have to do that. You have
And
to
we
look
have
for it.
free will choice.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
anybody out there in the universe that I might have said something I shouldn't have said, I forgive. I am forgiven and I'm healed. You forgive yourself, you are forgiven and you are healed. But do the work. Master your own mind. It's your life, your world, and your affairs. Take the time to sometimes be alone, seek alone, and I love to spend time in nature. And I what do you say? Be still and know I'm God. So I learn how to quiet my thoughts, my mind, my life, and it's okay. Whether other people like it or not, this is who I am. So will the real you please stand up? And the real you is that God and Christ in you. That's the real you. All this glammed up is just
mm,
outside appearance, but inside of you is more than you can ever imagine to serve the planet.
well, that is very inspiring. Wanda, I really thank you for taking time to share your story. I'm looking
You're
forward
welcome.
to your next book. I'm looking forward to seeing you model. I want to see you in some magazines. Um,
That's my goal setting.
yeah,
Those I'm doing it now. That's the great thing. When the opportunities present itself, I'm not gonna say no. So right now, thank you for asking me. And I said yes. I ain't procrastinate. I ain't think about it. I said yes. So thank
you
you.
certainly did.
And you're doing a wonderful job because I'm following you and your spiritual journey. And when I cry, I don't call you crying and couldn't get myself together. And you just always calm and you help me so much. So I appreciate
Oh,
you and your family.
thank
And
you.
we prayed about things and seen miracles happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My sister's in a beautiful new home right now. And I really know that
Congratulations.
your prayers helped to make that happen.
Our
'Cause,
prayers, because I still
yeah,
want my condo on the water and I'm praying about it.
it's
And
coming.
yes, because
It's
I'm
coming.
doing the work.
Yes. And that's the thing about faith. Um, God's time is the right time, not our time,
Yes, well,
but
yes,
it's the right time. And there's a season for everything. So in the correct season at the right time. And
yes,
that's where
that's
your
so
faith
true.
comes in.
Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, evidence not seen, and then it'll manifest, and you'll be like, "Wow, God, wow."
Yeah. How do people find you on Facebook, Wanda? Because you, like I said, every day you post inspirational verse. You are your own cheerleader, so you have a story that you present that's motivating. You also share some of your business products with your Mary Kay line, and it's just an overall interesting journey. So, how do people find you? What should they look for?
On Facebook is Wanda T Luck, and on Instagram is WTB Enterprises info. And I have WTB Glam on Facebook. That's my personal private group that I had invited members to join. So when I post you know,
Mhm.
things to share with the group. I have that. Also, I just connect with different women, men collaborating, and we share stories and help each other. And that's the media part of it. And I want to start back with my podcast, hopefully before the year out or 2022. I want to go back on tour, book signings, modeling. I would love to be a print model. I love to show off the clothes, not always the runway, but it's just things I'm pursuing my dreams and goals. So as people follow me, they will see me transform into this coming out this caterpillar to this beautiful butterfly. But we all have a choice to do these things.
Mhm.
And I ask for help. Like I said, I ask for help. And I'm not afraid to ask for help. So that's one thing about me. And I love to laugh. I love to have fun. I cry. I hurt. Things not always perfect in my life, world and affairs. But as I go on my journey, I take time and spend a lot of time lately by myself. I'm okay sometimes being alone, seeking alone, and so I can get me together. And when I'm together, I can help the next person. But a lot lately, I need to spend a lot of time to myself so I can do what I got to do for me so I can be a better person to help the next person. And I love the teenagers and making them vision boards and
Mhm.
mentoring and stuff, but I want them to get that best version of me. And I'm still growing because I had shift, fell off too,
Well,
but now
everyone
I'm
needs to get that second win.
myself.
And yeah,
Yes, I'm getting my second win.
there you go. There you go. Well, again, Wanda, you're a blessing. I want to thank you again. I'm going to post all these links at the end of the um, video here that we've done and encourage everyone to um, find you and follow you and really
And
let you help them be a guide. I
and
think everyone
also I
has,
want to do,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, some
Mhm.
virtual for Mary Kay, Beautiful Skin, Beautiful Life. I have a www.marykay uh, wglam, my website for that. I'll post that too, but I'll send it to you. But
Okay.
also, it's doing the work. It's in the work. Woo, you got to do this work 24/7 to make a better you. So I appreciate you. If nobody else don't, I thank you for this
Oh,
opportunity. And I will
you're
have more and more and more after this one. It doesn't stop here.
this is just the beginning. Well,
Just
I'll
the
be
beginning.
following
Hit
you as I've been following you. So I'm looking forward to see what you do next. And I just want to thank you again. This has been a
I want to
wonderful
thank you.
conversation.
And I
You're
love
very
this
welcome.
conversations with you. Because I'll be following you too. And you always so calm. Wow. I need to pick up some your characteristics of being so calm
You are perfect just the way
all
you
the
are.
time. I
You
know,
are
but
the
I
way
just
that
never seen you get upset. Never. All it is about you. So
well it
thank you.
it
So that
you're
helps
welcome.
me.
It's been a while. It's been a journey for me as well. I
Yeah,
think we all have
yeah.
different aspects of our personality that begin to form as we get older. And um,
Yes.
this is I really have nothing to be upset about. I'm just blessed
I
all
know
day,
that's
every
right.
day. So I am
Wow,
full of
that's
gratitude
funny.
and I'm
I'm glad you
enjoying
said
this life.
that because I need to learn some of that. See, some of that need to rub off. Look, let me pull that off that Zoom and rub off on me. So when I'm acting out, I can say, think about you and be like, be still, Wanda. Emma looking at you.
I'm I'm getting all my inspiration from above. I don't take credit for
Yes,
that.
yes,
We all
that's
have our
what
moments.
but it's doing the work.
Yeah,
It's doing the work.
absolutely. And we help each other.
Yes. So thank you for this. And friends and family out there in Facebook land and Facebook Live. This was just conversation with, and with Miss Emma. And she have, what is your information on Facebook?
It's
So they
called
can,
Just Folks
just
Conversations with
folks,
Emma. That's all it is. Just folks. That's
just
who we are.
just folks conversation with Emma. You can look that up, and she be having some great speakers and teachers and leaders, and you can follow it, and it's so inspirational.
And I'm
So,
always looking for more.
and she
Always looking
always
for
looking
more
for
folks.
more folks to just have a conversation with,
Because
just like this. So
everyone has a story. We all
we
do.
all have a story inside of us.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
with that all said and done, I want to say good night to everybody on my Facebook Live. I'll see you as you follow me on my stories I post and create my videos with my music and different things. Thank you for being my fans, my friends, and I just thank you. So God bless you. Have the best week of your choice out there because it's yours for the asking. So I'm saying good night on Facebook Live, and I'll see y'all soon.
I'll see you too soon.
So thank you so much. And
Okay, Wanda.
I
Wanda.
will call you tomorrow. Look, I had some people watching me. Woo, see, I'm a star.
Okay.
But
You
they
are a
do,
star.
so they'll hear our conversations. They only see me, but they heard us talking. But
Yes.
this